going.
Bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog league you run, SCCA or NASA, we don't discriminate. As long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips and tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing. And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
We're waiting on Tim, and I'm mental, and I promise I've got a really long layover this weekend. I'll have my laptop, and I will finally edit the intro to have like everyone's voices. I just haven't done that.
Fine.
Okay.
Mental show, and then we're invited.
I didn't do it
anyway.
either. So, yeah.
I did promptly after Mental asked for it.
She totally did. I've got the outro recording with her on it too, which is, yeah.
Tim is also in the inbox. Anyway, we're Everyone Racers. This is how the sausage is made. Welcome to Wait, seriously, another Porsche episode of our podcast. Another one. The 2023 Vision 357 was a 356 tribute based on the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS made for Porsche's 75th anniversary. It featured special livery, custom coach work, and was powered by a 500 horsepower flat six. They also made it an all-electric speedster version. Are you bored with Porsche's? Mental only has 3 more times to pull this over the next year or so.
Unfortunately, we're never going to get to the nines, where then it would just be all of the Porsches. So,
We said we'd never get to 300. It's one of those never say nevers.
Yeah,
but if I will say, if we make it to the nines, it's yes, all Porsches. Like the 946 was a telephone designed by Ferdinand Porsche. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which
right,
I remember having a Porsche designed phone when I lived in Germany. I spent way too much money on it. Like not even a cell phone, like phone. Like it was the 90s when you had phones connected to the wall.
Yep.
And a cord long enough that you could stretch into the next room so your mom wasn't listening.
Totes, yeah.
Luckily,
my mom wasn't with me in Germany.
Kept spinning. It dropped. It just couldn't hold it up because it was balanced all wrong. Yeah. No.
Oddly enough,
like, my phone was not like that.
I was really good with that. A lot of people had problems with it. I had no issues with my phone spinning. I don't know. Maybe people were just trying too hard to drive their phone like a Camaro.
You lifted it off of the cradle gently. You didn't lift too quickly.
You had to balance.
We're not talking about cars anymore. Okay. Phones anymore, rather. What you working on? Mental, tell us everything.
So I had a 4-day weekend, and I was actually blessed enough to clear a few things off like that have just been occupying my workbench. And it's just one of those things. So Vicky doesn't know we're going to do this yet, but she's going to be annoyed when I install this. This is there it is. Yes, there it is. That's my new mailbox. I cut everything out of there, and the center part of that lights up. It's got solar powered lights. So when the sun goes down, it'll light up the center part of that. And in a perfect world, Uber drivers will now be able to find me, because they always like pull up and think it's, one of our neighbors' houses on that one.
Well,
okay.
great.
And so I got that. Cool. Then I've got a mid-century modern style number board, but I had to cut those letters out and get it all painted and covered and shellacked and sealed and everything. So I literally spent the entire weekend in the garage getting nothing important done, but just, clearing space in my brain and on my workbench to start working on larger projects. So again, anybody wants a free side-by-side ATV?
You're just waiting for you to go on Marketplace and offer it to other people for things that are far more valuable than your broken side by side.
I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to do it in September because, as we discussed last week, apparently I'm not going to race for a few months. Means I'm going to race every weekend in September.
Oh, good. That's a good plan.
Yep.
So for that kind of nonsense, you've got to be around on the weekends. Well, I've got a 76 Oldsmobile. It's running on 4 cylinders. I could drive it over and see if you'd be interested.
Yep. Good.
Yep.
So enough of my yard sale nonsense. You guys had a much superior weekend.
It's pretty nice. We worked on our tans and a book and washed
Reading
the
it.
boat.
It's not like we're not like writing one or something.
No, not
No.
writing a book.
The book won't be published for another year and a half. We all know that. But yeah.
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 The tell-all.
We went to the Cape and took the boat. We went.
That's
out
why we
in
have
the
a
boats and then
podcast.
eventually-
It's much easier.
Yes, it is. You don't have to write it.
Right?
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, we used the boat. We brought it home. We put it in the lake. We used it more.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Sat around more.
It's fine.
Yep.
Yep.
And this is because you don't go up the Cape, so this is the one you spend all the time. So now you also don't have to worry about the salt water, like eating at it a lot faster. And this is the one you guys got rescued on by the pontoon boat, and then literally the next day rescued somebody else.
Yeah, close enough. I mean, you have a loose grasp of the truth, but don't let it get in the way of a good story. So you're close
I was
enough.
like, is that
all those things
you're
are
talking about us?
kind of true. So
Okay.
yeah, so we'll call it okay.
All right. But I do like where you guys live. You mentioned it is going to be 47 degrees tonight.
That's why I'm wearing a sweatshirt at the moment. Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's important to have that good tan because now's the time when people's tans start to fade where you live. And
I mean, it doesn't usually. It's September. Usually it's beautiful. It's just we're in a
We've had the
cold
boat
patch at the moment. So
yeah. We've had the boat out in the lake in October, like almost Halloween, when they were about to pull the docks out of the lake because it was still 70 degrees and we still went out. So you never know. Whatever. Just means I have to put the top on the NSX in the morning. That's all.
right. That's why I took the Merc today instead of the other two that were not prepared for cold weather.
I like heated seats.
That's literally why I took my car because I was like, I don't really want to deal with the other ones. That's true.
In winter for me means I finally get to drop the top, and I'm actually, I'll work a way to get the hard top off the Mercedes so that Vicky can, well, she's never going to put the top down, but when I drive it, I can put the top down and get that thing cruising around on that one. So
Cool.
Great. I was doing the same. I got nothing now.
Yep.
Is it us time?
all right. Joe Kucinski at Rennlist has a story of Porsche bucking current trends.
Again, more Porsches.
Telephone conversation earlier. Like making electric vehicles act more like internal combustion. Now, the forthcoming Dodge Charger has a speaker that makes vroom, vroom noises. And we saw the aftermarket exhaust noise generators for the Mustang Mach-E at SEMA a few years back, which was just stupid. And Porsche was actually considering using a fake shifter and noise to give a driver of their electric vehicles the sensation of a traditional car. Porsche development driver Lars Kern pointed out that is silly and a step backwards. Quote, the electric engine is better than an ICE, so we figured there's no reason to simulate what has been in the past. We looked at it, and I don't see the point of using it to make it feel like a combustion engine because it's not, so we don't. So for now, Porsche's electric vehicles will behave like electric vehicles. And you, Chrissy, you got to test drive the Taycan S at a press event, and if I don't want to let the truth get in the way of a good story, but if I recall, you liked it.
I did. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, what's not to like? Really, I'm driving a new Porsche for free. Yeah, no, I did. I thought it sounded pretty good. I don't think I need a shifter, so yeah.
Excellent.
Yep. It's a different thing. You don't need the shifter. You don't need the extra complexity. You don't need the extra gimmick. It's a different car. Yep. There's Kat. All right. Let's go to Maine. Tim was supposed to read this, but he's not here, but that's all right. Home of beautiful landscapes, lobsters, Stephen King nightmares, and timber. And at one time was home to more than 120 covered bridges, which has now dwindled to 9, or now actually, as Beverly Braga at the Drive reports, 8.5. And not because someone blasted past the height limit. No, it's because a driver ignored the weight limit. Babbs Bridge in Gorham, Maine is one of the oldest covered bridges, dating back to 1840. It also has a weight limit of 3 tons, but the driver of the F750, that's 7 as in siete, didn't realize that his truck can be over 9,000 pounds empty. He also failed to add in the bed full of crushed gravel. So what he was successful at doing was falling through the bottom of the bridge and plunging into the Penobscot River while only suffering minor injuries. So this Babbs Bridge, for more than a century, has fulfilled its purpose of helping people cross the river, but it might be cursed because vandals burned it down in 1973, and it was rebuilt using historically accurate, locally sourced materials, and now they need to do it again. Right, of course. So the Maine DOT said the repairs will not be completed until next spring because sourcing the historically accurate material will take several months. In the meantime, other repairs will take place while Babbs Bridge remains closed. Repair estimates have not been released, but the owner of the truck company has offered to help pay for the rebuild. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure some of that's going to be savings from that guy's salary. But
dude,
yeah, I don't want to be the insurance claim on that of you drove, you did what?
Not an F750. You know, bigger numbers are more, right? Yeah.
America.
Full of crushed gravel. Like, not even just like, it was empty. Let me just drive over this with a whole lot. And if you're from that area, chances are you probably know that you shouldn't go. Even if you're not from the area, I feel like you should just know that you shouldn't just drive through a historic covered bridge.
Less than a week ago, Chrissy and I were in the
Go, Chris.
Chrissy and I were in the Escalade on little tiny back roads of Pennsylvania, getting around some traffic because it's the way Waze brought us. And there was a covered bridge that had one lane. And I'm actually generally looking for weight signs on this thing because the Escalade's, it's not an F750, but it's got some heft to it. It's got some heft, and I'm looking around, and if I was driving an F750 in Maine over the bridge, it looks like this. I'm definitely watching hard for signs,
which they said were everywhere. Yeah, we had one of the few remaining covered bridges in Georgia, a mile and a half from my house. I don't know if you guys ever saw it when you came into town, but not too long after we moved there, Vicky was driving Snowflake, and I was out of town, and she called me. She's like, "How tall is this truck?" Because she wanted to make sure she could fit through the covered bridge. Because it would get smashed once a year. And it was always by somebody who didn't live there and just ignored the signs.
Yep.
Oh, bridge owners, they probably hate them. You're like, you're so dumb.
Exactly.
Yep.
Anyway, enough about bridges. Remember the remake of Gone in 60 Seconds? I don't, but in the opening scenes, a thief simply smashes the front glass with a brick and nicks a new Porsche 911. Thieves in Rockville, Maryland took this as inspiration. The Jaguar Land Rover dealership was burglared when thieves grabbed keys to a new Jag. What tipped the investigators off was the mastermind, and their goals was that a young thief grabbed a few candy bars from the showroom. Police said the 12-year-old also made his way to the Audi dealership where he allegedly destroyed a bay door with a stolen car before helping himself to some ice cream from the courtesy freezer. As you may have guessed, this is not the suspect's first run-in with the law. Local police believe that the child may have been involved in over a dozen break-ins in the last 2 weeks. Due to the unconvicted suspect's age, law enforcement in Maryland have been forced to release the tween on every occasion. In case of someone who's under 13, they're completely immune from accountability or consequences of almost all property crimes. Jason Johnson with the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund said to ABC7, the Maryland juvenile justice system is set up so that there is little, if any, consequences for most juveniles' involvement in criminal activity. I bet we could get past this if someone just went to Costco and bought him some candy.
Kid's got a sugar sweet tooth, Yeah.
I mean,
free
went for the Jag.
Jag.
Well, he was like, but ice cream, or I don't know which one was which, but yeah, like they must have something good in there. He's going high class.
He knows the high end dealers have
High
better
end
giveaways.
dealers.
Yeah.
You go to there because they're going to say, well, they must be able to treat their customers nicely. So
One of the
Maybe-
best coffee you could get in Oklahoma City when I lived there was at the BMW dealership. And when you would take it in for service, you would they had like a cappuccino bar. It was pretty awesome.
I was picturing you just going in like every week and be like, can you tell me about this BMW? I would like to get a cup of coffee and just stand there and listen to a salesperson tell you about it while you drink these
It was
coffees.
actually, it was in the service section because we would go over there. We had a certified pre-owned. So I would just, and all of the routine maintenance at the time was included. So like, oh, my windshield wipers aren't working very well. Time to go back to the dealer and get a free cup of coffee. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, earlier we
Okay.
talked a bit about electric vehicles. And so we went on Racing Junk to see what they had. And we found this. This is a 1928 Walker electric truck. Now, the ad in this is really lame. It doesn't show much. It's got a few pictures, though, but it doesn't really say anything. So we said, what is this Walker electric truck? So apparently, they were battery-powered vehicles built from starting in 1907 all the way until the 40s in Chicago and Detroit. Designed by the Walker Vehicle Company and by the Anderson Electric Car Company, and then sold to Commonwealth Edison. So really, these trucks were in service for apparently quite a long time, through decades. And they were... They only had 3.5 horsepower. It's a 3.5 horsepower electric motor provided power with a ton of batteries. It got up to 66 to 80 volts and a maximum of 40 amps. So these could go all of about 50 miles at a maximum speed of 10 to 12 miles an hour. And at night,
I don't
they'd get
think I'd
plugged
wanna
into
go
charging stations after
faster.
deliveries. Yeah, no, I don't think you would. But on the other
think I
hand,
would
the
wanna
alternative
Die.
Mm-hmm.
for deliveries
It's
for
like
this
a
time
giant
period.
metal golf court. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the alternative in this time period was horse and wagon deliveries. And the horses poo all over the streets. And that, people don't particularly like that. They were starting to get used to that doesn't have to exist. And even though horses are nice, they're slower than the 10 or 12 miles an hour these trucks could pull this heavy stuff. So the first companies to use this were like dairies and bakeries and the mail.
Who were
and
also
freight
up like at
companies and
4:00 in the morning where people don't want to be awakened by annoying horses.
clip
and-
clop, clip clop, clip clop, clip clop, clip clop.
Yeah, but also like I'm sure this thing isn't quiet, but it's a lot less work in theory to like unplug your
It's
electric
a lot
vehicle than
quieter
like
than a
stick your horse
Ford.
on a carriage,
yeah.
Exactly.
right?
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah.
So who
All right,
knows? This kind of thing's
truck.
available on Racing Junk. There you go.
Okay, it's
Tesla
45
swapped that bad boy and take it down to the local.
So we didn't say how much it was. We
Street
didn't
Pico.
say where
I mean,
it's
still
from.
cooler than a Cybertruck wank pencil
100%.
thing, Yes.
Yeah. No one will mistake that for a dumpster.
Nope.
much
It's,
and
they're
where it's
asking a lot
from?
of money. It's $46,000, and we don't actually know where it's from because this one dealer from Cadillac, Michigan, puts their stuff all over
It's
Racing
Oh,
it's
that
Junk.
posted
guy.
everywhere. That
Yeah,
guy.
it's that guy.
Which
I
he's
usually
not
don't
a
so
avoid
cool.
their stuff, but
he's not a
when
bad
some
guy.
even they
but
get
yeah,
super cool stuff.
yeah, they always have interesting stuff like that. All right.
Well, fun. Okay, it's upcoming races time. Champ Car is going to Mid Ohio Grand Prix. There are 64 cars, 20 BMWs, 16 Miatas, 4 Hondas, 7 Porsches, and a Ford Contour.
Oh, there you go.
There you
Wow.
go.
So more than half of the field is BMWs and Miatas.
Which is an improvement because, like, it used to be half the field would be BMWs and then
I think-
Miatas on top of
And
that.
then the rest
So-
are what Mustangs and Corvettes.
So it's Ohio. They might
Okay.
have some interesting. Yeah, they got the Ford Contour.
They have a Contour.
Oh, they have something. Just the Ford
Just,
Contour.
just a Contour. Just a Contour. For
Yep,
sure. Yeah.
yep.
All right. The Sausage Fest, Road America. More on that in a minute. 145 cars. It is the biggest race of the year so far. NJMP was like right there. All right. And I forgive our listeners for what's going to happen next. On the first lap of lemons, the racers gave to me 19 Fords, 16 boring BMWs, 11 various Hondas, 10 Farfignugan, 7 Miatas, 6 Toyotas, 5 Pontiacs, 4 Stellantis products, 3 broken Porsches, 2 Chevy Blazers, and an ambassador made by AMC. I don't know who did that, but that was brilliant.
That was Timmy. It wasn't me.
It wasn't been Tim. It was definitely not us.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we're a couple months too early.
Wow.
But to any song that you could wrap up with an ambassador made by AMC. That is that's going to be a great. And if you guys don't know about the Sausage Fest, actually one of the things they do is you have to go to downtown Elkhart Lake. So it is BS is downtown like CMP, which we'll talk more about that in a second.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah.
And who but to our wandering eyes should appear just as we have sang the Christmas entry song, but our very own Timmy.
You missed it by just like a couple minutes.
Hi, friends. How are you guys?
Hello. Hey, so we just got done talking about the upcoming races, but since you just got back from the airport, our bet is you've got what you're working on that's probably at least somewhat interesting.
I have quite a few what you're working on right now. So we're at the end of the season here in Maine. So we're starting to put all of the things away, all
Bridges.
of the floaties, docks, the air conditioning units come out, and then we burned a lot of firewood. So I spent a lot of time today with a chainsaw and a 25-ton log splitter and stacking lots of wood. So we're getting all of the things ready. Wood, what can't it do? So yeah, so we've got a theme coming up at Buttonwillow. I might have taken some videos to prepare for that, and so more to come on that for sure. So
Outstanding.
That was it. But the reason I'm late, had to pick Amy up from Portland Airport, and we'll do a safety tip early. Don't get drunk and then get on the airplane, because then the police have to come on and escort you off. So
you got to go bail. You got to go bail Amy out later tonight.
Yeah, again. Here we are again.
Hey man, she was really, really happy with Lando's win at the Italian Grand Prix. So. I'm sorry, Lando's podium, not his win. Yeah,
his podium. Yeah, but
I was like,
yeah,
what?
It was,
what were you watching?
Well, if you were drunk then too, you might not know.
Lando, you won.
Why doesn't he win the points? I don't understand. Why did he get all the points?
Why is he and Oscar so sad? Gosh, they were so sad. I know this is not everyone F1, but like, get over it.
No, this is everyone know when and where to drink, which we're all qualified to have that conversation.
How drunk do you have to be in the plane for them to actually find you belligerent enough to remove from said plane? I have been not sober on airplanes, and certainly nowhere near that. But yeah,
gotta be pretty bad. So this was a little shorty plane too. It's not a puddle jumper, but it's not a big jet because it's coming from New York. And there were like 40 people on the plane. So there's like tons of seats open. It's not like you're fighting over luggage space or something dumb. So, you know.
I fly out of Las Vegas, in and out of Las Vegas. There are, I would say at any given time, 20% of those aircraft, those people are intoxicated. It's the belligerent. I think that's what you
Yeah.
Drunk's drunk. Yeah, when they're drunk and leaving Las Vegas, they're just sad and broke. And when they're drunk on the way, they're happy and jovial.
Yeah. It goes back to the don't be a dick, be a dude, right?
Right?
Yeah.
It always goes back to that.
Don't be a prick, be a passenger.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so good.
Excellent.
All right. So
Where are we picking up? We did upcoming races. So recent results.
are we doing recent results?
We are not, because all we have is the entries on there, and I failed to go to their website and get
That's
the
okay.
winners.
There was like 12 cars. So
It was
Meh.
34 cars at the Thompson for the 12-hour thing right there, and
everyone gets a
12
trophy.
Nobody cares. That's fine.
track day, All right. Well, we're glad. Obviously, if we didn't hear anything horrible about it, it was a good, safe race. So, yay on that one.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's usually not belligerent on airplanes.
Yes.
Not usually. She does go fly first class, and she does like a glass of wine because it's free, but does not drink too many free glasses of wine.
Because she knows how to handle her liquor and how to, exactly. As you said, how not to be drunk and belligerent, but how to be, why I bet all of the staff say that lady dressed in gray, why she's delightful.
Dressed in gray. Good call.
Okay.
You're good.
It's main topic time.
It is.
Let's talk.
Sorry. We've got a lot of people liking all of our social media stuff, but nobody sent us anything. Although literally as we sat down, I got a text asking, and this is a good just round the horn. Where would you, because everyone on the screen has been a judge, where would you class a Cobalt SS? Now, my immediate reply was that, what team is it? How much effort did they put into their theme? How good
What's
is their
it look
theme?
like? Yeah.
And how
What is
how
it?
janky is it?
Does it have the stock fuel tank?
Good
Suspension.
Good question on that one. But yeah,
Is it the
04
turbo or
Cobalt.
supercharged SS?
I believe the 04s are the turbos.
I thought that's supercharged. So
Is
the
it the
turbos were
supercharged
actually
one?
like
Okay.
pretty good.
Yeah, although they
Way
were
better than they should have
alarmingly quick cars for Cobalts. Well, just period. It was just alarming that they were fast in Cobalts. Yeah.
I think
Um,
in
no,
06,
sorry.
06-07 it shared the 2-liter LNF motor with the Solstice, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I
when it
think
went
it was
turbo.
supercharged
go.
early, turbo later.
It went for Cobalt trivia. The LSJ engine didn't meet emissions for 2008. That's a supercharged one, so they went turbo. Got it.
Okay. So yeah, stock
Okay.
fuel tank, that plays into it. I feel like a stock fuel tank on that would probably keep it in B because it's going to be stopping every 67 minutes.
Now, if they made it like a total rental car spec, like steel wheels with hubcaps, the crappy bumpers, and just lean into this is just a rental car kind of
Just
thing.
a generic green color. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's
That
a
would
good
be
one.
the way to go.
Yeah.
Enterprise
All right.
barcode on the window.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Chrissy?
So there we go.
You didn't weigh in on that one? You
No, don't care.
don't care. All right, whatever.
It have a chance at B, which for a 200 and something horsepower, fairly light front wheel driver is possible. Who knows?
It's probably safer to put it in B, actually.
Yeah.
Because
All
nobody
right.
knows who's going to win. Okay, we're talking about Road America. Let's go.
Folks, Road America is known as America's National Park of Speed. Dating back to the 50s, it is 4 miles long with 14 turns laid out on 640 acres of rolling green Wisconsin farmland. As I am literally the only person here who has never raced it, I'm going to be needing some information, but what I can give you, courtesy of my co-host, is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association's website to tell you what the weather is going to be, which matters because today it's 105 where I live. And this Friday, it is going to be a 20% chance of showers after 1 p.m., partially sunny with a high near 66. Winds around 10 miles per hour. We call 66 degrees overnight lows in February here. Friday night, still going to be raining before 1 a.m., partially cloudy, low around 45. I might die. Winds at 10 miles per hour. On Saturday, it is going to be mostly sunny with a high near 62, winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. And Saturday night, clear, low around 44. Reference comment about dying. And Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 67.
Sounds
Sounds
great.
kind of lovely, actually.
It actually does sound kind of nice, but I will
Right?
be digging out the my Northeast, casual clothing to go there.
Well, for the Friday night parade, there's no excuse like I can't wear this dumb costume because it's too hot. You'll be nice and toasty in whatever dumb costume you have on. So lean into it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a dumb costume for this race. I have a fantastically dumb costume that I've been working on for several weeks for High Plains Raceway in 2 weeks. So if you're coming to that one, it is that team is going hard for HMG, and I will not be the weak link in that one.
I mean, if somebody from Daft Punk just walked around the whole weekend, that would be kind of funny too.
Okay, let's talk about some logistical things that will be very helpful to you if you're going. No stand-up scooters, and every paddock vehicle must have a seat, be lit at night. All non-street legal paddock vehicles must obtain a Road America paddock vehicle pass in person at the Road America admin office.
Yeah, hang on.
So the
Question
the airlines will not be getting another one of my skateboards. It will be staying in my garage.
If every paddock vehicle must be lit at night, which version of that? It's like, oh man, that is lit. I'm happy about that.
Excuse
that
me,
with
sir,
a
you don't have any
GH?
lights. You don't have any lights on this. You're like, but I'm still lit.
Yeah. Because
Is that how you get away with it? It's like, well, there's no lights, but that is lit, so you're okay.
Rusty Nuts or Loose Nuts Racing is bringing their, they're coming out. So if they're bringing that lawnmower with the couch and the TV on it, that's Wisconsin lit right there. They may let that one go.
Yeah, they just
Think
have
they should.
like hold
The
flashlights
television
while you're
counts
on
as
it.
lighting, right?
Yeah, the TV projects
there you
light.
go.
Boom.
I feel like I would just get a flashlight is really what you just need. A couple.
That's actually how we plan on getting the car back from the parade Friday night.
Headlamp.
Yeah, lots of headlamps. Okay, go to the
Get those free
bring 'em with
Harbor
you.
Freight flashlights, and those are totally good as lights. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't wait till you get there. Bring them with you. Okay, so then you can get the Road America admin office is open from 8 to 5 on Friday and 8 to noon on Saturday. So that's an interesting new one. Okay. Golf carts available for rent. If you don't have a paddock vehicle, you probably want one because the paddock is huge. So you will probably need to get one from one place to another. You're going to need some kind of vehicle or at least some kind of wheels rather than walking, or you're going to have a lot of steps. Quiet hours. Race engines may not be run without a Road America permission between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. Text schedule is posted. Go at your normal time. Text schedule is on the Lemons page for your race or your suit to tech. That's usually a normal thing these days. All fuel is in the hot pits while there is a race going on. There is not much nearby. I think there used to be a gas station, but I don't even know that they have food. That was a while ago since we've been there. So you should bring stuff. The track food. There's a really nice, again, this is as long as it's the same as we had. We were there a couple of years ago. They have a lovely kind of concession stand, and then it had a deck and tables and chairs, and like it was kind of a nice place. But I think that's all you got. It's got one option. But there is
At least
a
the brats
potluck.
will be good
Sure.
because it's Wisconsin.
Curds.
Duh.
Yeah. Was that place open when you were there last year, Timmy?
It was. They were a little late opening for breakfasts, considering you generally want to eat pretty early because things get rolling pretty quick. But they were open. They had coffee. They were open for lunch. Food was fine. We did most of our own stuff anyway. But it is there. So use them if you don't want to cook.
Well, because I've watched races there, and I've seen the pictures of the overlooking the track with the bleachers, and I believe it's right near the Johnsonville brats and stuff like that. So I kind of just want to go there to say I ate there. Let's see if I could do this. I can't. So here is some of their they have like must have concessions: bratwurst, Eggers, spotted cow, of course, fried cheese, curds. Yeah. So
All the
That's
staples.
about right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big thing of corn.
And
Okay.
corn, lots of corn.
And there is a potluck. The list looks pretty good. Obviously, as I am a potluck connoisseur, please sign up if you are planning on bringing something because that's helpful to everybody. Jeremy Moonen is putting that on. And bring snacks, food if you don't want to wait at lines at local establishments. So make sure you participate in that because that will be awesome.
And the link to that is actually going to the potluck is going to be in our show notes as well. So if you're coming to the potluck, sign up. Same rules, no half-eaten. Although actually, I feel like macaroni salad in the Midwest, they probably would, be happy to have it, kind of a deal, as opposed to.
As long as everyone doesn't get 5-gallon buckets of it. Yeah.
And I'm gonna see if I can throw this up here as well. And this is something that we were discussing. So judging. Judge Shelley is one of your judges, and she's mentioned that downtown, anything you want to eat, there's like a line that you have to wait in to get there, and the judges aren't going to have time. So if you're looking to curry favor, more on currying favor with those judges in a minute. Bring some food to the Friday night BS inspection downtown to make sure your judges don't get hangry.
I think all the judges are expecting to be completely full of brats and cheese curds and then still eating more of brats and cheese curds because, yeah. All right, so here's something, logistics about the race. Paddock, you can get in on Thursday the 5th. Registration starts at 4, but the gate doesn't open until 7. So you can do all your registering and drinking in the parking lot you want, but you can't get in until 7. Then the gate will close at 10. There is parking in the paddock. There are electrical hookups and spaces in the paddock. They are first come, first serve, except by the garages. Don't take those unless you have a garage. Come on. Common decency, people. Every team entry gets the usual 20 by 40 space in the main paddock. There's a lot of room here. You'll be all right. This is not Thompson. There's plenty of space to spread out a little bit. If you haven't already gotten a garage, too late. Try again next year. There is fuel on site. Apparently it's 91, 98, and 110 octane. So who knows? I don't know what the prices are like, but it's there. So that's good. Parking's first come, first serve, unless it's specifically mentioned by Lemons or the track. And definitely don't park anywhere that's blocked off for Lemons staff, lest you incur the wrath of Kim.
And
camping
that is
allowed
to
if
the
your team pays
amusement
for
of
it.
everyone else when you park in Kim's spot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all enjoy that. Camping is allowed if you paid for it or in the spectator area. We already talked about all paddock vehicles being lit at night, yo. Yep. The Friday, the gate opens at 7 a.m. for registration. There is a test day hosted by Road America for Lemons teams only, which is good. If you didn't pay the $395 before Tuesday, you will need to pay $445 for it now. There's your bonus. 11 to 4 is car and gear tech. Well, it's not car tech. It's car and gear tech, but tech only for both of those things. So it's a little different timing, and it's a little faster because it's only the tech. BS judging and the block party is from 5 to 9 p.m. in downtown Elkhart Lake. This is like the CMP race car parade, except instead of being half an hour from the track, it's like 3 miles to get into town to old school Elkhart Lake, where they've been racing for many years. Except now they don't have just hay bales lining the streets so that race cars plunge into crowds of children, like actually happened back in the day. They actually have a big actual track now. That's a little bit better. So the instructions have been emailed or will be emailed to all the teams. So really just get up there with your car. You need lights. There's other things you need. You'll see it in your email about that, and really make it there. If you have to do BS inspection Saturday morning, you're probably not going to be as lenient for the people there Saturday, unless you have a really good sob story.
Because you just made them get up early with a belly full of brats and cheese curds.
Yeah, they will make announcements to about 4:30 for people to go down and start lining up, and you'll line up in that same section of the track, just outside of the track, where you'll line up to come in on Thursday. They will single file line you out of there with a police cruiser in the front and a police cruiser in the back. Make sure you've got working lights. Make sure you have cold beverages in your cool shirt box, and some food, because if it rains like it's forecasted to, there is one place to go get shelter, and it will be a zoo, and you will wait an hour and a half to get any food. So prepare yourself for that with that forecast. That was a learning opportunity that Dave and I had last year. So,
and while Googling Lemons Parade in downtown Wisconsin, I came up with the local Sheboygan Press. And if we scroll down far enough, unless Google lied to me, this is how Timmy knows what he's talking about. And I should have really planned this a lot smoother. This would have been way cooler sounding when I immediately pulled back up and found the
You try
picture.
to talk through it, and then you just keep going.
Exactly.
And,
And then you just keep
going.
going and going. There it is. There's the Cheaties with the giraffe.
it was great.
Yep.
The Nestle Quick Car was right next to us, to the left of that picture, and they got backed into their spot, and then immediately just leaked Nestle Quick radiator water all over the street. It's like, welcome to the party.
Yeah. Welcome to the
Yeah.
party, pal. That's awesome.
Yeah, so good. So
It's
good.
excellent. Well, looking forward to it. Your judging crew will be led by the one, the only Eric Rude. You've also got Shelly McKee, Chris Champion, and me. So
Dun, dun,
Why is it
dun!
Why isn't Chris racing this week?
I don't know. Don't know.
He's only got 1 week left on that sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Poor
it'll
guy.
be a good time, but I don't think that you're going to get away with much, or that we're going to suffer fools without penalty, without themes gladly. This
Yes.
is a lot of experience in this crew. And,
That is a lot of hardcore themers. Like, yeah.
And also, we've got Jeff Stobbs on media, and he doesn't hesitate to interject himself when he thinks someone has a poor theme, for example, or whatever Jeff decides to interject himself with. It's always entertaining. So, good times
Another
will be had
proud
by
son
most.
of the Midwest, Mr. Stobbs.
Yep.
Good crew right there.
Yeah, and I'll warn you right now, speeding in the paddock is going to be a real problem at this race, particularly because we're going to do the idle penalty, where you got to start the car and get it going with the clutch without touching the gas, and then make a full lap of the paddock at idle. And that's going to take a long time in this paddock. This is not a little paddock, so be forewarned. Yep. All right, Saturday, 7 a.m. gates open, 9 a.m. drivers meeting, 9:30 grid for a 10 to 5 race session. Great. Sunday, 7 a.m. gate opens. We've got a 9 to 4 race session. 4:30 is awards. So kind of a normal schedule, except we've got that fun parade in the middle, which is going to be great. Yep.
The parade's awesome. Go to the parade. Don't be like, it's so far away, man. No, go.
You've got to go to the parade. How else are you
gotta
going to get you're not going to be ready for the track in the morning unless you get BS'd. So
Yeah.
do it.
And then showing up early, making the judges have to do something early, and then saying, well, I just didn't feel like going. You're going to have a bad time, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the rest of us will laugh at you.
Yep.
Pointing and laughing.
Yep. All right. So this is a big, fast track. There's a lot to it. Chrissy and I drove this at one lap years ago. It went by a little faster in the AMG Mercedes than it's going to go in your
The Miata.
or Hornet, right? Yeah, things like that. We both saw over 140 on this track in that car. That was something. But Timmy, you drove this most recently, so why don't you lead us around this track, and we'll all talk it through as we go. And we'll just start on the straight. It's a really long straight, but I was really surprised that it's like uphill. You go along, and it really just goes up a hill,
Way uphill. Way uphill.
way more than you think.
Yeah. So for context, I was in the Cressida last year. So your car's got some power, but not a ton of power. It's kind of more of a momentum car. Um, but let's start as you're coming out of the hot pits. So keep in mind, you will have cars that get to the entrance or the exit of the hot pit at 140 or 150 miles an hour. So please mend the blend line. Stay to the right all the way until you get around turn one, because they're going to be coming by like a NASCAR train. So be very careful. Stay to the right of the blend line until you get around turn one. As you come around turn one, you're going to enter that turn. If you're coming down the main straight, you're going to be entering that turn somewhere between 120 and 150, depending on what car you're in. There is some run out room on the exit of turn one, and it is a kind of a mid apex turn. It
like
is a little bit
right for the most part.
Yep. So it's a very standard traditional turn. And as you come out, there is bailout to go wide if you have to. But there are bumps, there are some rumble strips, and the rumble strips on this track are no joke. They will shake your teeth out. So you can use them, but you're going to know, and you might not want to do it every lap, or you're going to be tightening stuff up at the end of the day on Saturday. So pretty simple 90-degree turn. Turn two is really a non-turn. It's just getting you set up for turn three. Turn three is a little bit more than a 90-degree turn. It's a pretty slow turn. It is a late apex turn. If you get out of turn three and you just get to the end of the curbing on the outside on the left, you have done it correctly. If you get to the curb way before that, you've turned in too soon. So keep in mind that's definitely a later apex turn, and try to exit right at the end of those outside curbs.
And the key with that one is getting on the gas as early as you reasonably can to not get off of the gas, because you got a really long straight coming after that. So being on that early will help.
For sure. And the first part of that, as you come out of three going up the hill, you'll see there's a bridge in front of you. You will be going uphill. You'll be on the power, full power. You want to set up on the right half of the track, kind of the first third on the right. And you can follow the right side down the whole way. It's pretty straight, but there is a little bit of a bend in the racing line. You kind of stay right under the bridge. You come back left a little bit as you start to go down the hill, and then you'll feed back out to the right to get set up for turn five. Turn five is a hard left, heavy braking downhill, and the flag stand is on the left just prior to the apex. And pay attention to that. As soon as you start to come over the crest of that hill, try to find that flag station. There also are lights on the right side of the track that indicate if there's a yellow or anything, but really be careful of that, because you will see those lights and that flag before you see the guy that just burned through the corner and stuffed it in the tire wall.
If I recall correctly, the pavement undulates quite significantly in that braking zone because of all the forces of all the cars coming in there braking so hard. They've made ripples in the pavement. So it is not a smooth braking zone online at all.
Last year we were the first year on the new pavement, so that was gone. Luckily, now maybe it's back. Maybe
because
it's back.
they run IndyCar, they run NASCAR, they run IMSA. Everything with massive downforce does run this track.
Yeah. The track was great last year. It was really good. So I think they've taken care of that. Now, whether they went the Sonoma route and only put 2 inches of pavement down and now it's all turned into potato chips, who knows? But it was really good last year. So turn 5, heavy braking zone. take your time learning your braking point on this one, especially on test day. There were 2 cars last year in test day that stuffed it in that turn. And there's runoff after you go, if you go straight through 5, but it's gravel, and then there's a wall. So you can't really, if you overcook it, there's no more turning. You're just going straight into the wall. So be very careful on that one.
Don't try to save it. If you really don't think you're going to make it, then you're going to go sideways off into the gravel, and that's not going to be great. Just keep it straight until you can scrub off that speed. The speeds are just too high.
Yeah, it's fast. So now as you come out of 5, you'll be going up the hill to 6. You're going to see another bridge that is going to cross over. The bridge is your braking point. So you're going to come up. The car it could get a little light if you, depending on how fast of a vehicle you have. So be mindful of your balance of the vehicle, but you're going to want to brake right at that bridge and then turn in through turn 6. The curb is friendly on the inside. The curb is not so friendly on the exit of 6. Once again, it's just those pretty heavy rumble strip curbs that they have. You need to immediately get set back up for turn 7. Eyes left as you come out of 6. There is a flag stand on the left, and you will see some action through here. This is a great spot to be able to pass cars. People tend to brake too early coming into 6. So if you can time it right, you can get a good run on them and then pass them coming out of 6 or out of 7. So good opportunity for some passing in there. And 5, one thing, people will dive bomb you down on the inside of 5. So before you turn in, just make sure you don't have somebody that snuck in there. They're coming with a head of steam. So you'll be able to get an idea of whether or not they're going to make the turn or not. So maybe you want to just let them slide on by you before you turn in. So that's one thing to be cognizant of. So on 6, as you make your way back left to set up for 7 is a late apex turn. It's just kind of a kink. So you don't need to slow down as much as you think. And that there's a good stretch there going into 8 where you'll be on throttle. And if you get 7 right, you can pass people going into 8 pretty easy. So just like turn 3, if you get 7 correct, when you exit to the left of the track, you will basically get to the edge of the track right where those rumble strips on the left end. If you get there too soon, then you've turned in a little early. You can try to squeeze that out just a little bit later, and it'll be full throttle down that hill. A lot of people I found as they came out of 7 didn't open the wheel enough, so you can pass them on the outside of the turn on 7. It did feel a little off camber at first, but it's got plenty of grip, like plenty of grip. So great way to get a pass done there as you come down into turn 8. Turn 8 is a pretty typical 90-degree turn. Late apex, there is a lot of exit room to come out of 8 and go a little bit wide to maintain your speed. And that brings you up into the carousel. The carousel...
8 is
that.
7 is the kink to the right. 8's the hard left, and I remember it being harder than it looked, like coming into it, where
yes,
it's a 90-degree, but it feels like a harder than 90-degree left, especially because you're setting up for the carousel, which is a long other way around.
I agree. It feels definitely a little bit more, and going later into that will help you. Will help you out. You can get back on the gas a little bit sooner. And then 9, the carousel, it's pretty typical carousel. It's quick, so pay attention to your tires. They will talk to you and tell you good things. But I think the true racing line, if it's not busy, and with 144 cars, it could be busy, is actually play it, just set it up like a double apex. So you'll apex kind of between where 9 and the carousel is on the map, and then you'll apex again just across from the number 10 on the track map. If you guys are watching, if for those of you just on the pod, you're going to get about a third of the way around. You'll start to apex. The car will drift out about mid-track, and then clip that next apex. And that one is going to be right across from the flag stand. There's a flag stand at the end of the carousel that is, it looks like it's in the woods. Like, you've got to really look for it. And it's important. We had an incident right after 10 last year, and there were some people that were still bringing the mail when they came around there. They didn't see that. And that's pretty scary. So make sure your eyes are up looking for that flag stand in the woods there. You're trying to look at that apex, but the flag stand is hard left out your side mirror. So there was, last year, the trees were starting to turn, and there was one tree that was kind of a lighter green color, and it was just to the right of that lighter green color tree. So if it's about the same time of year, so maybe it'll be the same, but keep an eye on that on first couple laps or test day. All right. Now, the good news is you don't have to do the kink, which is probably the scariest damn thing I've ever seen on a racetrack at speed. Some of the worst crashes I've seen on the YouTubes have been people just sending it through turn 11. So we've got, because lemons, we're going to not let people do things stupid like that and hurt themselves. So we're going to make a hard left before the kink. And this spot I found by my next section on Sunday, you can really fly through that first corner. It looks like it's a 90, but it's not. So you can come in and send it into there, and people have way overslowed for that. And if you time it and get your spacing right, you can send it into that corner, get left to make that right-hander, and you can come out of that, that I think that's 11A is what they call it. Come out of 11A hard on the throttle, and you will pass faster cars than you. And
So you're
just
talking about
pull
the chicane at the kink. You can come into the start of the chicane a lot faster than you think you can, and power out of it. Yeah. And I agree too that if going through the kink without a chicane, if you mess that up, you've got like no room to the wall, and you are hauling at that point. Yeah, taking the chicane at the kink is totally the safer choice, without a doubt.
It's the only choice. It is the only choice, and it's fun. I mean, I don't think it takes away from the track at all. It's such a big racetrack. It's the only slow corner in the whole track. So enjoy your moment. But you can definitely pass people as you come out of that right-hander on the kink. And now you're going to be like just barreling down another long straightish away down into Canada Corner in turn 12. And it's on the gas. There's really not a line through there. There'll be traffic. You'll have to manage your way through the cars, especially if you get a good run out of the kink. And Canada Corner is a tricky one. It is set up on the left for a right-hander that goes uphill, and I think you'll find that you can carry more speed into that corner than you think because of the hill. The hill eats up quite a bit of your speed. So you're going to want to kiss those curbs on the inside of that apex, and get yourself tracked out. There is some run-out room there. If you've got somebody that is maybe stuck behind another car, or they're hugging that inside right corner of 12, you can get a little fancy and maybe stay wide on 12 and pass them on the outside, and you'll have enough room before the run out ends to get around them if they're kind of stuck behind a couple of people. So that was a sneaky way to get around people that I found when I was doing that. As you come out of 12, you're going to be going straight uphill. You'll see the flag stand on your left, and you will find a very, very friendly curb on that inside on the left. And it is a late apex on 13. It's more just of a bump, but the track, you'll be cresting the hill at that point, and the track will fall away from you, and you have to just trust it. Like, don't pinch that corner. Let the car drift out. There's a lot of room at the exit of 13. And something that helps that is there's a connector, a maintenance road or safety road between 5 and 13 right there. So you've got some extra pavement to be able to sneak into if you do run it a little bit wide. So don't pinch that corner. It's a little scary because you're coming over the crest and it's a little blind, but you can definitely keep your foot in the gas and get cooking over that corner. And that brings you into 14. There is the black flag sign. So when you see your number up on that sign, it gives you plenty of time to pull off the track if you exit 14. Keep an eye out for that. Everybody's going to be dicing in traffic. It's up on the left, kind of away from where you should be looking for the apex on your right. So keep an eye on that before you go around the corner. Because if you miss the black flag, you'll get to see Chris and all of his friends. And I'm sure they'll have lots of fun things. So 14, I can honestly say I never felt like I got 14 right. I tried a bunch of different ways, and it's one of those that you've got a really long straightaway afterwards, and there's a giant hill, and it was like no matter what I did, I'd get to the hill and I'd just be like, but
you have a really long time to think about how poorly you did on that turn.
Yeah. And I'm
like
oh.
do your taxes long.
Yeah.
Is this turn?
I had so many bad words to say to myself.
And then you can just think about it and you're like, oh, eventually there's you're gonna have to stop and turn and there's a wall in front of you. So there's that.
Yep.
Longest straight ever.
In the world. Like,
yeah.
Like I'm driving to Canada. Like that's what it feels like when you're going. So 14, you could definitely, it feels like it's a late apex turn. But I didn't feel like I went any faster, whether I went early or I went later. I didn't have any data to tell me one way or the other, but it might've just been the fact that you get to that hill and anybody that has horsepower is just pulls you and you're like, you're just like, oh, that's so sad. So
I feel like you've predicted my weekend driving a Miata.
Yeah.
Yes.
The hill is so much more than you think, and you're already at like high speed, and yeah. It's a lot.
You're like foots to the floor, just looking around. You're like, all right, this is the time to look at gauges for a long time. You're like, they're the gauges. It's not like a quick, okay, everything's up, good, no lights, great. This is like the font on those numbers are really nice. So let me just look at them a little bit longer.
You need to redo the Sharpie marker on the labels for the Switch. I don't remember to do that.
It kind of looks like it says something different than what it is right now.
Let me get my pad of paper out and write this down while I'm.
Let me text. Let me lick my finger, lick my glove, and try to use stretch to the iPad that is over there and text that I would like a brat for lunch. Let me just do that.
Yeah.
And if you're driving and listening
Crosswords.
if you're going to race this weekend, you will be shaking your head after this show, and you drive it. It's real. Struggle is real.
I actually felt like that was highly educational. Thank you, Tim. And feel free to get a hold of us and tell us how accurate Tim was. I bet he gets an overall grade of 95 or better from everyone that comments on his track walk on this one.
Wow. That's a
Wow. Better than I
That's
did
great.
in college.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But if we were wrong, let us know, because we're not
Yeah,
gonna
feel
do
free to
anything.
grill me.
He's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
So-
Oh, you
longest
a
straight in
brat?
the world, like you guys are staring at fonts on your gauges. You guys were in a 502 horsepower world-beating sedan.
yes.
So you're bored at 130, 140. I mean, holy crap.
We weren't that bored because by the time you come up over the top of the hill and the car actually accelerates harder, like significantly harder, and we're really whoa, we're going very quickly here. And then
but it's plenty
you
of
gotta
time to
haul
think about,
4,000 pounds down.
right? If I am going to lose a wheel at the moment and I'm going 142, and there is literally, or at least there was when we raced it, a wall at the end of the straight. So there's a little bit of runoff and then a actual cement wall. So you have time to think about how fast you're going, how bad it would be if something's going to happen to you and you were to crash into that wall. So that's long
and
enough.
if you're
I'd
watching
say.
the video, there's the wall of which she speaks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of runoff and a wall. So you have time to think about that. Fortunately, nothing did.
It takes like 30 seconds to go from turn 14 to start finish, and then like 8 seconds to get from start finish to turn 1. It's like, it's whoa, and then you get over to start finish and you get to the top of the hill and you're like, and you're like, whoa, now I'm going really fast.
Yeah.
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 It takes so long, and then all of a sudden it's over. And
And I feel
And now
like
you have to
in
turn and you have stuff to do again.
Yeah. I feel like in the AMG, you were probably having that conversation like this too. Wow. Yeah. It's 100
It's nice and
135 miles an hour. If I
Nice and
lost a
quiet.
wheel right now. Is the air conditioner seat working? Of course it is. Oh, this is lovely.
I don't know that I was that calm about thinking about losing a wheel at 142 in a state that was still pretty far away from my final destination. So, yeah,
Fair.
yeah. I was thinking about the AC.
And we're trying to do a track walk. We were driving the 500 back. We had dinner last night, and I'm driving down not a good section of local road, and I can kind of tell that I'm going over potholes, but I can't hear it. It's just big heavy Mercedes, man. There's just something about those things. Yeah,
until you're trying to stop them from 140, and then you think about the physics going to that, and then
and you have plenty
You're
of time.
happy.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
These little tiny things are going to slow this car down? What?
Yeah.
Well, they had already been used hot, cold for 6 days before then. So we were, just questioning it a little bit, but you have time to question it. So that's what's great.
Yep.
So I'll be in a Miata.
It'll be
I wonder if they tighten the wheel bearings.
Right. You will be doing that. That is correct. Do I have all of my brake pads? I hope so. Unlike the Civic when we didn't have all the brake pads. So,
Yep.
How many do you need, really? It's a light car.
Exactly.
Chris found out.
I still would prefer 8.
Yes.
8 really
And-
would be.
So would,
Well,
so would
and
the
the-
car.
The thing about losing a brake pad at the end of the straightaway as your car lightens itself is you also lighten yourself because poo comes out when you go to hit the brakes.
It's a special feeling. It really is.
Oh, all right. This is great. Thank all of you guys. This is all right.
Oh, one thing for those of you that are coming in on Thursday, and the gate that is open is the second gate. It's not the main gate. They'll bring you into the second gate, which is just about another half mile down the road. And when you come in, you'll see the tunnel right in front of you that brings you underneath turn 14 into the paddock. The the office where you rent golf carts and such is to your left, and you will see the golf carts parked over there. They had about a dozen of them last time. And then they'll make you turn right. There's a little gas pump there. And across from the gas pump is the little ticket window. At that ticket window, that's where you'll end up getting your wristbands to get into the track after you sign your waivers. So they'll drive you past that into that grassy field and get you staged there. I think Dave and I got there last year around 4, and we were halfway through the second line of traffic already. So people do tend to get there early because it's such a haul for most people. So just keep that in mind. So you can get parked, go over and get your wristbands at the ticket window. You can walk one building over and get your golf cart, or if you wanted to get anything else set up for test day or pay your parking or anything, you can do that. And that's kind of the jam.
It's a great jam.
Cool.
That is
Have so much fun.
Yes. We're going to miss you. Well, we're going to miss you, Ted. We're going to miss you, Chrissy.
Yep.
Well,
Super jelly. Wish I could be there.
We'll be
Fun.
Well, I'll be posting. Chris doesn't post.
Nope.
You do a great job at it for both of us. Thank you. Great job.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Okay. I don't have anything offhand for our
Nope.
just.
Oh, no,
Well,
we
we
were
already
just talking
had
about-
we had our header. Just the tip is don't
Yeah.
be belligerently drunk in an airplane.
Don't be
That's
belligerently
consumer
drunk.
advice you can use right
Yes.
there.
Be
Great.
quiet and cheerfully drunk.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Or just take a nap.
Just take a nap.
Yeah,
There it is.
it's the best way to start taking a nap.
Mhm.
Great. Next week, do we know what we're doing? We'll probably do post Road America hangover ish.
Yes, and
Seems like a good idea.
Yes, and we might have a guest. People like to poo-poo. Young people are getting into racing, and we have a young person, if we can make the schedules work, was more or less born into this insanity. And now he is off to the. We're going to be talking to Julian Cordell, the son of Dominic and the other Cordels. He's off to the Alaska Air Academy, having graduated high school, and he's going to be an airline pilot. And he came into Lemons and to a not necessarily mechanical family, but has been around this craziness, and he's done rallies and he's done racing, and he's got an interesting take on it. Or we won't. We'll just talk about the hangover. Yeah. Who knows?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. We have time. Until then, you guys are going to a racetrack, and racetracks are always fun. So go have fun there.
Yep, we will. Great.
All right.
Emmet,
Okay,
are
bye.
you ready with the outro?
I am ready with the outro.
It's there somewhere. It's there.
It's right here. Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. And go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text pictures of your junk to me at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, and even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again. Until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.